What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I'm your host, Randi Hipper, back at it again on this lovely Friday. And yes, I said Friday because we worked so hard throughout the week to get to this moment where we can sit back, chillax, and get to know today's guest. But before we do anything, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share this out with friends so more people can learn about today's guest. I'm really excited to talk to him, and hi to everyone in the chat, by the way. It's really nice to see everyone flowing in. Again, make sure you show some love to the stream. Gonna waste no time. Talk to today's guest, Jordan, aka That Martini Guy. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's been a very, very busy week because the market's finally picking up, which is fantastic.
I know.
It's great. It's been the most profitable week that I've had in probably about 3 or 4 months now. But It's been a very profitable week. Yeah, it's been a good week. Really good week.
Wow, I'm happy for you. I know a lot of people are very happy about the price action, and it's cool to see because we were flat for such a long time. And, you know, in the crypto space, we like to feel FOMO. We like to feel the adrenaline, look at the greed to fear chart, all that good stuff. But I actually want to learn about you, Jordan, because you're a very interesting person. You're into a lot of different things nowadays. But let's walk back a little bit. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to, let's say, college Jordan. What were you up to? What did you want to do with your life?
All I wanted to ever do was probably trade stocks, to be honest. I always liked the idea of trading stocks. That's what I always wanted to do. It's just, unfortunately, in order to trade stocks, even in America, I think, to be honest, to get into any kind of like JP Morgan type institution, you need qualifications. And that's the bit where I fell down because I didn't particularly enjoy the idea of going to spend 4 years at university and spending all of that money. I was coming from a poor background without a lot of money. I thought the idea of doing that would be silly, and I could just educate myself without going to university and do it myself. And I did, so yeah, it went okay.
Wow. So you started off trading stocks. What drew you into the stock market? Was it the money-making effect? Was it just being able to kind of take control of your own like economic future?
It's interesting being that. So I've been interested in stocks, I guess, like a lot of people, around the time that the Wolf of Wall Street film came out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I want to do. Is that looks fun. But of course, at the same time, I bought Bitcoin back in 2013 because I was really interested in what was going back on, like in the Silk Road and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what I could do? I could set up a side business here, buying drugs on the internet, selling them in person, that kind of thing. But I decided against that idea. I bought Bitcoin. But I never dare go through with it because I live with my parents. And so the idea of becoming a drug dealer, like, you know, drugs around the place, seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible idea. So I am very pleased that I never went through with that one because it would have purely been a money-making venture that went very wrong and probably ended up with some kind of prosecution. So I decided against that one from a financial perspective as well as a kind of a moral perspective on the thing. But that caused me to buy Bitcoin. I bought 2 Bitcoin back in 2013. It was not a lot, and I bought the peak of the bull run. And the only reason I found out about all of this stuff was because back then on the news, that was when Silk Road was really doing the rounds back in 2013 because it had been shut down once or whatever. And then they relaunched it with Silk Road V2, 2014, I think that was. And then it got shut down again, and then Ross got arrested. It was when all of this stuff was kicking off. That's when I got into crypto, but it was around the same time because I was never really thinking, oh, look, I can trade Bitcoin, I can make money from Bitcoin. That was never what I thought of that. I just thought I need this weird internet currency to go and buy things on the Silk Road. Because the news kept on advertising it to me. That was how it was. The news advertised this system of making money to so many people, and the news and I guess when you have news stories about these things, it doesn't generally put a lot of risk takers off. It actually turns them on. So I think that actually news stories around the Silk Road actually pushed adoption of Bitcoin very significantly.
Probably, yeah.
You make a lot of money from that kind of thing. But that was the intention was to buy and sell rather than to actually invest in Bitcoin. And at the same time, because I had no money at the time and I put all my money into Bitcoin, I would go onto these stock trading applications and get like the $50 free sign-up bonus or whatever. And on one of them $50 free sign-up bonuses, I flipped it into about $2,000. I thought, actually, I'm doing really well here. And then, but the platform that I was using was plus 500, and it actually allows you to rack up debt on plus 500. So I went just completely degenerately positioned. I don't know what it was at the time. Managed to rack up like a $5,000 debt on the platform, and then they shut my account down. But back then, again, you didn't have the KYC, so nobody actually knew who it was. So I had an interesting introduction into the world of trading and that kind of thing, being that I'm from a poor background. So you will do many more things than what the average person will do to kind of just find a way through and figure it out, because it's all a learning curve, isn't it? When you get introduced to crypto and you're like, this is dodgy. And it used to be very dodgy, but it's not anymore. It's calmed down.
I mean, 2013, that's early. How old were you when you found Bitcoin in 2013? How old were you then?
I'd like to say about 16.
Oh my gosh. So you were young. I was 16 when I first clicked for Bitcoin. So wow, you were early, really early.
I'm probably born before you then, in that case, in that I'm 26 now. So it's been like 10 years since I first bought Bitcoin.
You're like 6-7 years older than me. I'm almost 20.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. So you're 16, 2013. You're already involved in crypto. You're already involved in trading. Did your parents want you to go to college? Was there a big push there?
No. My parents always said, it's clear you're a bit different. You'll find your own way. Just try not to break the law. That's always what they said. Just don't break any laws. And so that's, again, what always stuck in my mind. You can't break laws. You've got to get rich. What's the way? I've always thought of it like a puzzle, in that I had a job for 6 years. So between the age of 16, I dropped out of school after 1 year of college. So in England, you do school at the age of 16, and then at 16, you do 2 years of college, and then after 2 years of college, you go to university. I made it through 1 year of college, and at the end of that year, I decided that school, I just didn't like it anymore. So I went out and got a job as a mechanical engineer, working with like oil and gas, doing like pipeline flow calculations. And I did that for 6 years of my job. I worked as a sales engineer is what my official job title was, which is really boring. But it was a lot of maths and it was big money for the customers, but not really big money for the staff. The staff got paid pretty poorly. At the peak of my wage, I was earning £24,500 a year.
Wow.
Which is not a whole lot of money. No. And when I first started on that, I was earning £6,000 a year. So again, it didn't work out. Didn't enjoy doing that, but that gave me because I really hated that job. It gave me the platform to kind of just really want to do something else. But also, I didn't want to go back to school and learn something and go through university. I just wanted to be rich. So I was like, oh, sod it, I'm going to try YouTube. And so I actually just started reviewing cars on YouTube. I just started begging people's cars off them. Can I review your car? Yes, no. After a while, that went pretty poorly. I got a lot of hate on the internet for that, and I felt a little bit kind of down because of that. So I decided to change my tactic and start making indoor videos, because the car community is really nasty. There's different type of video that I would describe. So you've got indoor and outdoor videos. Outdoor videos, you go out into real life and you do things with real people. Those videos are very time consuming and very difficult to do, especially when you work a full-time job.
Yeah.
Indoor videos, way easier. Sit down on a computer, film something. So I came up with the idea that I was going to make videos about car YouTubers instead of making videos about cars. So, like a commentary channel, but for car YouTube.
Oh, wow. That's creative.
Yeah, so nobody else was doing this at the time. It really took off. In fact, if you still look on my channel, look at the most viewed videos. All of the most viewed videos on my channel are from that era, Twerking 2016, when I used to abuse people in car YouTube and just make like really defamatory statements about them. It was a really nasty piece of work. But at the same time, it got me a standing and it got me some followers on YouTube. And then a lot of them followers actually have followed me through to now, which is incredible. They started watching me as a car channel, and now I do crypto. Because I've always been doing crypto on the side. It's just at the time, crypto, you're not making money. Like we was in a 3-year bear market or whatever it was back then. So I bought the peak of 2013. So 2013, bad. 2014, bad. 2015, bad. 2016, good. So in 2016, I'm starting to get interested again. And then you'll see cryptocurrency videos pop up on my channel in about 2017, because that's when I realized car YouTube, because this was also the adpocalypse. You remember the adpocalypse that was going on back then? When the Pepsi and everyone pulled all of their adverts from YouTube. It meant that you couldn't actually make money from ad revenue anymore. So I was earning, for a video with like 100,000 views, I was maybe earning about $10, $15 for 100,000 views, which is nothing, because of the apocalypse. And so I had to figure out a different way to get money. And the answer was invest. And so I just started investing in crypto like very heavily, 2016, 2017. Made a lot of money in 2017, then lost every single penny of it in 2018. But yeah.
What?
It's been I can continue with the story because 2018 gets even more interesting.
Yeah, go. This is your show, man. Go on.
So 2018 was basically, YouTube had taken off. I was on about maybe 15, 20,000 subscribers. I was doing crypto videos combined with car videos, like a bit of both. But then at the same time as doing these videos, I was really getting very depressed at work. And then I had an incident at work that made me get in a lot of trouble actually, with a few different organizations. That then meant that I felt like I was on borrowed time with regards to my job. So I really stopped trying at that point with my job because my boss was horrible to me. Everything about it was going wrong. They'd made me make a bad decision, from like being irresponsible adults around a child. I mean, I call anybody that's 20, 22, whatever I was. I was 20 at the time. But yes, I was 20 and I was making some terrible decisions and no one was stopping me. So I ended up in a bit of trouble. And after that, I basically got myself in about £20,000 worth of debt. Bear in mind, I only earned £20,000 a year. I'm 20 grand in debt. In the peak of the 2017 bull run on my portfolio was well above $100,000. And then 2018, I'm massively in debt with some companies, without going too much into the details of it. And then a subscriber lent me 1 Bitcoin because he knew that I could trade and I'd done really good. So this was when Bitcoin was $6,000 in 2018. I'd done really well. I traded this 1 Bitcoin, turned it into about 4 Bitcoins. And then this was over the span of about 3 months. And then the crash from $6,000 to $3,000 wiped out all of those Bitcoins. So now I was $6,000 in debt to this guy. And I was £20,000 in debt to these organizations. And I was like, fuck, what do? I dug myself a deep hole now. And I just kept on trying and I just kept making videos. And then I came up with the plan that in 2019 on April Fool's Day, I would hand my notice in at work and just quit, just randomly just quit and just go full-time YouTube. And at the time, between like maybe January and April, start of April, I'd managed to build myself back up again. So I had a crypto portfolio then from investing. So I went really heavily long at the bottom. Like I longed $3,740 Bitcoin with every penny that I had in my bank account. And this was on the pump back up. So we pumped back up to about 6 grand or so over the span of a few weeks. And I turned a little bit amount of money into a decent amount. And my portfolio had gone to about $30,000 by April. So then I still couldn't afford to pay back the guy that lent me the Bitcoin that was a subscriber of mine, but he trusted that I was going to make it back and do my best. And I thank you very much for that because I did end up paying him back. I paid him back by about July of that year because I moved to London from my parents' house in that year. And so after I moved out of home, I paid him back. And since then, since 2019, best year ever. I think I became a millionaire at the end of 2019. So from the span of quitting my job on April Fool's Day, at the end of April, so I had to give 30 days notice. So at the end of April, I left. So at the start of May to December, I made myself a millionaire. Then I think we had some kind of bearish period in the start of like 2020. Lost a fair bit of money again, but then by April of 2020, I bought myself a Lamborghini and I was a millionaire, which was fantastic. So you expect in like the span of 1 year between quitting my job, I turned my portfolio into a stupid amount of money. I was not very sensible when it came to risk management. I was pretty stupid when it came to risk management. But that's why I made so much money, so I can't complain. Like, who cares about risk when you can get rewards? Like, if you know it's going to go up, why are you not applying leverage, man? That's always been my thoughts. So, yeah, I did that. 2019, everything's going very well. 2020, everything went stupidly well. And then my net worth peaked in 2021 at 9 figures, and then it went back down quite considerably in this bear market. So it's been an interesting ride.
Whoa. Well, you went from rags to riches, basically. Rags to
riches, and then like back to like semi-designer clothes, and now we're back. Like, it's been bull market for me. Start January, I'm up several million so far this month, and it's been an insane start to January. So we're back, and especially on my channel, like, we're back. It's been great.
I love how happy you are and how bullish you are, because a lot of people are calling for 10K Bitcoin. They're calling for 8K Bitcoin. Some are calling for way below that.
They don't have enough Bitcoin, do they? They're too poor. They think that the price should go lower for them so they can buy cheap, but it's not gonna. And even if it does, ultimately, it doesn't really matter at this point, because from my perspective, Bitcoin is only, 420 days away, is it, from the next Bitcoin halving or something like this? It's in March 2024. So we've got 1 year and 3 months until the next Bitcoin halving. as long as you've got enough money to survive the next year and 3 months, it really doesn't matter what Bitcoin does because it's going to above $100,000 in the next bull run, like without a doubt. So we just need to wait. It's going to be fun.
Wow, you're probably one of the only people that have said that, saying like, hey, it's not going to go that low. And I might be on your side a little bit because I remember, okay, we could take the last bull run, for example. Everyone was screaming at the top of their lungs, laser eyes on their profile pic, we're going to 100. And when everyone said we were going to 100, that's when we dumped. And then when everyone now is saying, hey, we might go to 10K, we're going to go to 8K, then lower, 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 scare, 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 that makes me think we're going the other way. So I don't know, I'm like stuck in between right now.
I completely agree. There is a thing that is referred to very commonly in a bull market called bull euphoria. Euphoria also applies to bearish people, and these bearish people have had a bull market for the past 18 months now. The price of Bitcoin pretty much in continuous decline apart from a few bits of upwards for like 18 months. So it's been a long downwards trend that we've been on for a very long period of time. And that pump up to $69,000 Bitcoin, that was completely manipulated from my perspective by SBF and FTX and what they were doing with them, like very heavy market making and pushing the price of Bitcoin back up so that they could stay liquid longer. That's what was happening, I believe, on the run up to $69,000 in November. I don't actually think that was probably meant to happen. But I just think that there is too many people that are bearish, and these bears are in euphoria. These bears have had a bull market now for a long time, and they keep thinking things are going to get worse. Well, how much worse can they possibly get? We have so many measures in place these days from governments that ensure that financial things can only get so bad. They can't get really, really bad like before, because that's why we have regulation from these previous major financial crashes. We've had financial deregulation under Trump, and we had financial deregulation under the recent Conservative Party in the UK. But they've not got rid of everything. They've just kind of like brought back bankers' bonuses and a few other things. So I think that we have a very interesting scenario on our hands here, whereby you've got all of these people that are short. They're all getting squeezed right now. But what happens if people like me keep squeezing them? What happens if people like me keep dumping Tether into Bitcoin and the price keeps going up? And then what happens if people like me keep on also opening massive long positions at the same time as dumping Tether into Bitcoin, profiting off that, making more money, dumping more Tether into Bitcoin? It starts this upward cycle again. And at the point where people start getting squeezed out of their short positions, that's when you have this astronomical demand that kicks in. And so that's what I'm waiting for, the short squeeze, because there'll be a short squeeze. If Bitcoin breaks $21,000, I believe there'll be a short squeeze all the way up to about $28,000, $29,000. And it might dump straight back down after that. Don't really care. The point is, when that short squeeze happens, everybody that's short will get wrecked. It doesn't matter what leverage you use, because if you short $16,000 and the price pumps to $28,000, $32,000, even if you're using 2x leverage, you're wrecked. You've lost your entire position. And I see all these people on the internet constantly bearish, and they all hate me so much. And you'll have seen it on Twitter as well, like people like ragging on me and calling me an idiot and you're a permabull and stuff like this. No, I'm not a permabull. I'm a very good experienced trader that's made a lot of money doing this over the years. And come on, bet against me. I dare you. Bet against me.
It's the confidence for me. Damn.
Yeah. It's a bet against me, because ultimately it doesn't matter to me if I'm wrong. So therefore, I have. What difference does it make to me if I'm wrong? If I'm wrong, I continue to make money on the way down. So it doesn't really matter. I'm saying it because I believe it, not because there is kind of any financial incentive. You can long and you can short. My portfolio has already been destroyed when it comes to altcoins. So that's not going to be coming back probably anytime soon. Some of them are, to be honest. Like I've got some that are up massively this week. I mean, maybe you've seen TAP Global is up 1,600% this month so far.
Whoa! Damn.
Yeah, and it's a really nice, and I think it'll keep growing as well. I think it's the start of the bull run, and I actually think that due to the amount of money that people could have potentially made off stuff like that, when you start seeing altcoins popping, like we've seen Gala recently popping as well, when you go 4 times in value, that creates liquidity. That liquidity then gets invested into other caps, and as long as it's invested smartly, in theory, those caps go up. And then you have this period of like people that bought at the wrong time then start dumping and taking their losses. Now the price has gone up a little bit. But when you have a serious amount of volume that starts to kick in, and all it takes is a little bit of good news, which I think will come from the Fed at some point at the start of this year, we're not that far away from a bull market starting. And I think that people don't understand how quickly it can start, because I've been here since 2013. I've seen a lot of them start, and I've seen a lot of them kick off. They kick off like we're kicking off now. They look exactly like we look at now. You see all the same people. You remember back in 2017, Tone Vase was not 2017, 2018, Tone Vase was giga bearish, selling courses saying that Bitcoin is going to $1,000. When Bitcoin's at $3,000, he's saying it's going to $1,000. And I'm going, no, the man is a moron. Do not listen to him. Buy Bitcoin and just wait. And I made a video, not just one video, a lot of videos about this at the time, saying you just need to buy and wait and you'll make money. And that was completely correct. And all these people that went short and listened to these people, like you'll see the Capo guy on Twitter, he's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. And what he is now is he's doubling down on his prediction, because he knows at some point in time Bitcoin's price will come back down a little bit, and then he'll be able to celebrate and tell everyone he's right. And then he might be able to eke out with that, actually, I'm not as bearish as I was anymore, so probably close your positions if Bitcoin's price came back down at some point. But I actually think he's going to get mega wrecked. And I think that all of his followers are going to get mega wrecked. And I think it's hilarious because look at the amount of likes them tweets get. I hope everybody that likes them tweets gets giga wrecked and loses every penny they've got, because they're just dumping down the prices. And it makes no sense because we're potentially at the start of a massive bull run. And they're blindly listening to this guy that's never even posted proof on Twitter that he's a trader. He's just a guy that's got a picture of this other guy. He's never even shown his face. If he wouldn't attach his face to his words, why would you trust it? He's just an account at the end of the day. This is silly.
I mean, everyone has their own opinions and how they do things. And I've noticed, like, watching different traders, everyone kind of does their own type of... everyone always has their reasons, right? Sorry. Everyone always has their reasons. Like I've had people on the show that are showing me on their chart perfect reasons why Bitcoin would go down to 10K, or a reason why Bitcoin would go up from here. I mean, what do you look at when you're looking at your chart right now? Is there anything that would tell you, hey, like maybe we have a bullish case here?
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that I've made a bunch of cash at the start of the month on several different altcoins, I think is a very big driver. I'm not the only person. There are as many people like me out there in the world. And Bitcoin ultimately is a liquidity-based system. It's also an attention-based system. Look at engagement on the word Bitcoin right now. Look at the amount of search terms rising right now for Bitcoin. Look at how Bitcoin actually is starting to trend more and more frequent. I'm just excited. I think that for me, what's exciting about right now is probably a more interesting thing. If you look at the potential in the market, how long can you hold back potential? How long can you hold back entrepreneurial spirit? You can't hold back entrepreneurial spirit, and you can't hold back attention. Attention comes, especially when people see people doing well. I've seen my own engagement and a lot of other people's engagement over the course of this month rise quite significantly. I've seen viewership increase quite significantly. I've seen business growth quite significantly. And I think that is one of the best metrics. And it's one of the things that I guess Twitter people don't necessarily see. And I think that this is one of the reasons you'll actually see it on my own Twitter account. I've stopped trying on Twitter. I really don't care about Twitter anymore. And I have to make this decision for my own business, being that I think Twitter, since Elon has taken charge, has become so full of hate and just an echo chamber whereby if somebody speaks out, they're immediately the devil. Why do I say such nasty things about people that like Capo's tweets? Because those people say such nasty things about me. And so I have no remorse for people that like that guy. I hope they get wrecked. I've had so much nonsense off him, and ultimately it's all founded nonsense because I'm right so far. I've tweeted out Bitcoin has bottomed several times. Every time I've tweeted out Bitcoin has bottomed in the past, the price of Bitcoin has bounced. It might not necessarily have been the total bottom, but I'm just referring to Bitcoin as bottom for that, like it will go back up. And it's been right. But then these people twist that, they take screenshots of it, and they post it to the internet and go, look at this guy, he's always wrong. No, I've been right most of the time. I've been wrong a few times as well, but I've been right most of the time. And especially the most recent time where I doubled and tripled down it. And you know when Bitcoin dropped down to like $15,600?
Yeah.
I tweeted out like maybe 10 times that Bitcoin is bottom, Bitcoin is bottom, Bitcoin is bottom.
I remember seeing that, yes.
Yeah. And I got a lot of like and respect, but I also got so much hate. And it's kind of that point that I realized that actually Twitter is this echo chamber of people that don't listen to each other. They don't care about each other's opinion. Instead, and also look at the quality of viewer on your channel versus look at the quality of engagement on average Twitter. Your people that watch your YouTube, that listen to you, that actually want to hear you speak, to hear what you've got to say, are of a significantly larger intelligence. And they have got more care about what they're doing. They don't want, oh, buy this coin go up, number good, yes, wow. Nobody wants that. That's what people want on Twitter. On YouTube, they want reasoning, they want analysis, they want analytics. So somebody's saying in the chat, I've got the rainbow flag in my Twitter bio. I do not have the rainbow flag in my Twitter bio, but I've got nothing against the rainbow flag. Let people be free, man. What's wrong with you?
Let people be free. Absolutely, let people be free. Don't be hating out there, friend. I know he comes to the chat all the time. He's usually a nice citizen, and I hope he remains that way for the rest of the chat. But Jordan, I think you're extremely interesting, and I like that you're bold. I like that you're confident, because again, not a lot of people have the courage to say, "Hey, Bitcoin is bottom," and just stick with that and take the hate for it and take the heat. But if you're going to say something, then say it, put it out there. Don't have regret about it, and stick to your word. And now I know you're interested in a ton of other things. You're now racing. So what made you go behind the wheel? What kind of racing are you up to these days? And why even get into that?
So, we'd been in a bear market all last year, and I got really sick of Twitter, like really sick. This is kind of how the whole idea came around. And I got a message from a subscriber saying that he had a racing car, and he said, "Do you want to come and have a go in it, like do a race or something?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come and do that. Bitcoin really sucks right now, so why not?" So I went and met up with this subscriber, and then it turns out that they've actually got a racing team. So I did a race in this race car. I really enjoyed it. I was like, "Guys, I want to do racing next year as a career. I just want to be a racing driver. How do we do it? How much money does it cost? What do we need to do?" And it said, "Okay, well, you need to go out and get a sponsor, or you need to pay for it. What does it cost?" "Okay, well, you got to buy your car. Your car's going to be at least £45,000. Again, to give you an idea of costs of racing, one set of tires is about £1,000, and you go through two sets of tires pretty much every single time you spend a day in the car. So it's like £2,000 a day to drive the thing before you put fuel in it and before you crash it. So it's not a cheap hobby by any means. But of course, I'd done pretty well in the bull run. I thought, let's have a crack at this. I can probably find a sponsor in crypto at some point. Why not? Let's just do it, because there's sod all going on in crypto. And I wasn't making particularly any good money trading at the time. I was making some money here, losing some money there. It's like everything was flat and boring. I just wanted some positivity in my life. So I just started doing this. And so, next year, or rather this year now we are in this year, next year, 2023, the season starts in April. So I have my first.
Oh, that's soon.
So it's a professional category of racing. In that it's on TV in the UK. It's on ITV1 in the UK, which is the kind of, it's Channel 3. So whatever Channel 3 is in America. What's Channel 3 in America out of interest when you press 3 on the button?
I have honestly, my dad might be upset, but I have no idea. I don't do cable. I'm like, I have Apple TV, so like in my room. So I'm just like on Netflix and Hulu and all these apps all day.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
Again, it's been a long time since I've watched TV as well, but you use TV for sports in England. Anyway,
if it's streamed online, I'll catch it. Yeah.
So it is actually. So it's on the TV channel's website as well. I don't know if it's probably accessible via VPN, to be honest, from America. But so this racing series is on TV, and it's in what are called mini challenge JCW cars. They're pretty rapid, to be honest. I've got a Lamborghini, and it's faster than a Lamborghini, but it doesn't go as fast as a Lamborghini, if that makes sense. So they're geared to go up to about 140 miles an hour, but they do 0 to 60 in about 2.4 seconds. So they're pretty rapid, but it's also a really dangerous and stupid thing to go and do, especially being that we could be heading back into a bull market now, and I might die on a track, so we'll see. We'll see.
I hope not. Come on, Jordan, don't put that out there. You're not dying. You're not dying.
But the thing is, this clip will go viral if I do die. Then
that's all you care about is the numbers, the virality of your incident. No.
I'd like some recognition. Thank you very much. If I'm going to go and die on a track, let me at least get recognized for it.
Come on, we'll crypto millionaire dies on the track, like.
Yeah, well, nobody's ever died in these cars before, but there is frequent deaths on racetracks in England, especially during races. So it's like it's not something that definitely won't happen, if that makes sense. It's like you can never guarantee these things. But it's fun. That's why people do it, and you just got to try and do your best to stay out of danger. But it'll find you at some point. It always does. So yeah.
So do you think this has like the adrenaline rush of like I was saying to you pre-show, like are you out here for the adrenaline rush? Is that why you like driving the car? Because I love that type of stuff. I love like doing like driving fasting, going on jet skis and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's great. The just being dumb. I enjoy being dumb. I always have. Where's the fun in being normal when you can be a bit dumb and have fun? That's the best bit of me. It's the best. Like the idea of making sensible decisions is something that's never particularly appealed to me. And when I tried it for 6 years, it didn't go very well. So, and ever since I've made more or less sensible decisions, everything's gone better. So, and these are what's a sensible decision? You might say, well, normal sensible people would never buy Bitcoin. I would say buying Bitcoin is not a sensible decision. But I would say, from my perspective, it's sensible because it works every single time I do it. It's great. Bitcoin's the best. But your average human would say, no, this is not sensible. This is stupid. If I said, put your entire life savings into Bitcoin, people would go, oh, yeah, I have my entire life savings in Bitcoin. live a little one. It'll either go up to 1 billion or it'll go to 0. But either way, you'll have fun watching. And one of the other things I've learned is life, the journey of life, is a bit that you're meant to enjoy. The destinations where you get, they're not particularly enjoyable. Was it particularly enjoyable having lots of money at the peak of the bull run? No, it was not. It makes no difference. I'm probably happier now than what I was at the peak of the bull run because I have a lot less responsibility now. So the goal is never the happiest place. It's the journey that's the happy place. So you've always got to learn to enjoy your journey is what I think.
Wow. That's so deep. I like that. Enjoy the journey. But wouldn't you say like, you know, actually pursuing a career in racing is going to add upon your stress? Or this is something you enjoy, so it's not really stressful for you?
It's time consuming in a sense of you've got to get fit. You've got to get, you've got to eat the right thing. It's good for you at the same time. So it encourages a healthy lifestyle. Something that I can't say I particularly did very well at during the bull run. Not from like abusing myself at all. I just sat behind a computer all day, pounded energy drinks, just used to drink like 3 or 4 energy drinks a day. And I was up 20 hours a day. And again, you'll see I got like a little bit of an eye bag. Yeah, I'm back on those hours. I'm back on silly hours doing like 5 hours sleep. But back in the bull run, I was running on less, but I was just high on energy drinks the entire time. And it was a mental time. They've got some stories from the bull market. I mean, you can get into them, but there's some interesting things that happened back then.
I mean, share whatever you want to share. I mean, if you want to talk about the bull market, how you got your first Lambo, the process of all of that, share. I'm here for you.
The Lambo thing is not particularly okay. So there was a situation whereby back in 2019. I invested $20,000 into a project, and in the span of about 6 weeks, made about $700,000.
Whoa!
But then the project scammed me because they were because I was also meant to be getting a salary for some work that I was doing for them, and they never paid me. So I started asking the CEO more and more questions. Anyway, it turns out that it was basically a kind of rug pull on us. And in the end, he did.
Shame.
So I lost the full $700,000 and back to square one again. And that was it was an interesting year, was 2019, because it was my first year of working for myself and kind of learning who to trust and who not to trust. So I had some interesting stories from back then. But I guess the most interesting time was January to March 2021. Most money I've ever made in my life. Every single day between January and March 2021, made on paper $1 million at least, every single day on average. Made about $90 million between January and March. And then between March and about maybe whenever the crash was probably till June, March till June, I lost maybe, I don't know, my net worth peaked somewhere around $160 million. And then it crashed down really significantly by like 90% during that crash. So it was I got like torn apart on a lot of these altcoins. And some of them came back, some of them didn't. but for the most part, down pretty bad on all that lot from back then. But the feeling of being able to do that much amount of volume and make that much amount of money is insane.
Yeah.
Like you just become like Elon Musk overnight, and you can buy anything. Like when you're in that scenario, you can buy anything. It's crazy.
Wow.
And I don't know how many people on YouTube experience this, because I know that there's a couple of others that I know. You've got the Moon, you've got Crypto. Both of those two guys made a lot. I don't know of anybody, and sure there are others, but I'd like to meet those people and discuss with them, because it's really difficult to find people who had the same experience as me back then. Because when you're doing pre-sales and you're doing pre-sales, I remember you putting 50 grand into a pre-sale and that pre-sale is doing 100x, you're making $5 million in one day.
Yeah.
When that pre-sale is launching. But if you're doing that every single day, several times a day, you can make a lot of money. But then as soon as the market gets rugged, essentially, everybody's liquidity goes to zero.
Exactly, that's the problem.
And then you crash 99%. There's nothing that you can do. And people go, oh, yeah, but you're dumping. No, I don't even have my coins yet. So how can I dump? I don't have my coins.
Yeah.
So you just get, it doesn't matter what you do. This is the other thing as well. I learned on the internet, it doesn't matter what you do with your time. You're going to get abused no matter what. So just do what suits you, and just do what's best for the human behind the camera. Because what you end up doing as a YouTuber often is what's better for your audience, because you want your audience to be as successful as possible.
Yeah.
And then that you will come back and benefit you. What I learned is your audience, some of them are really nasty, no matter how nice you are and how good you try, because a lot of people are ungrateful. So instead, do what is best for you, and they will follow if they want to. And if they don't want to follow, they won't follow. And from there, we've curated a really good audience. And yeah, YouTube's doing pretty well right now. So.
Wow. So when you initially started making crypto content on YouTube, what were you initially putting out? Is it the same type of content you're still putting out now? Have you added any cool things in? And I think you've posted racing videos on there as well, no?
Yeah. So when I first started out making YouTube videos, it was very different than what I do now. Also, if you look back at some of my old videos, I'm a very different person than what I am now. The bear market, of course, depends on what period of time. Like, there's a different version of me in each time frame, because you've got like poor, sad me that's very depressed, that's making videos about cars. And then you've got poor, sad me that actually discovered that he can grow on YouTube, and he's slightly happier, but he's abusing people and being really mean. And then you've got me that discovers like how to really go ham on crypto, being a complete degenerate. Then you've got me exposing crypto people for scamming, which again, that was during a very sad period of my life. And then you've got bull market me, which is just fucking sorry for swearing, batty and insane is how I describe myself during the bull market. I was not right in the head, in the sense of, you make too much money too quickly, you go crazy. You make bad decisions, bad decision after bad decision, and you've got to learn to recognize that in yourself and continue to grow. So I took many steps back after being very humbled by the market, and getting completely wrecked, as I think many of us did, because again, you strongly believe in these projects that you're investing in sometimes, that they will absolutely go to the moon, but sometimes you don't realize that they're already on the moon and they've reached their full growth potential. So I think, lots of different versions of me over time. The current version of me is very realistic, and I would say much more reserved than before, but also more humbled, in a sense of, I lost more money than I ever thought I could ever make. So, and I'm also still doing pretty well. It's not like I lost everything. I cashed out some. So I did, like, towards the peak, between like $48,000 and $52,000. I bought a lot of things in that very kind of short period of time. I wish I cashed out more. I think we all do. It would have been great.
Yeah.
My peak bull market portfolio now, that'd be amazing. It's not going to happen for a while, but it will come back. It'll be back.
I mean, speaking of your growth throughout your channel, I mean, why wouldn't you be changing throughout that time? Because you're in your 20s, right? That was like kind of you growing up on YouTube. I mean, I started this when I was 17. I'm almost 20, so it was like I was growing up on crypto Twitter. And definitely, the person that I was 3 years ago almost is not the same person I am now. So I do see where you're coming from. Everyone grows, everyone changes, and like finds their way. And I feel like you have kind of found your way. What's like the next move for you? Are you going to continue trading, being a complete degenerate? Are you still humble? Are you getting a little, you're feeling some alpha energy right now? How are you doing?
So for me, the next job is to become what I would describe as a more professional tech and cryptocurrency entrepreneur. So I've invested in the bull market and since the bull market in 500 plus different cryptocurrency pre-sales and companies, whether that be equity or whether that be in tokens. I've done pre-sales and I've done equity. And between that, I have no idea how much money is in there. But like a lot of it will be worth nowhere near what I paid for it. But I found that level of investing to be quite simple and uneducated and kind of like spray and pray is how I describe it, whereby you just spray money and pray that it goes up in price. There's not a whole lot of kind of thought that goes into doing that. Instead, what I would like to achieve here is with Crypto Saving Expert, which is my company that we've been working on now for 18 months. When that goes live, which will be, I can't give you the official date, but it's pretty soon. Go to cryptosavingexpert.com.
I'm going to drop the link for friends in the chat.
Yeah, so it's cryptosavingexpert.com. But that company, I believe that in the span of 2 to 3 years, we can rival with similar competitors like, as in 2 to 3 years from when we started. So like 18 months from now, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. That's the plan, is to become as large as those websites. And I think it's very possible. I think that we've got something good, and I'm very proud of what we've done. Because it's taken you see a lot of like crypto people come up with these ideas for like projects and stuff like that, and they'll shill some coin and get like a bunch of money in a sale and do it that way. No, for me, I didn't raise any money. I spent £1 million of my own money building this thing so far. Cost me about 100k every single month in wages, and I just consistently dump money into it. When I describe it as that, that's how it feels when you're dumping money into something. That's not actually how it is. I'm not just wasting money on this thing. It is an investment.
Exactly, yes.
In the bear market, when you're spending that much money on stuff, it really feels quite illogical, being that's like 7 Bitcoin a month on staff. And you're like, should I still be doing this at this point? This is really expensive. Being that it used to only cost like 1.5 Bitcoin a month to run, and now it's costing 6 or 7 Bitcoin a month to run. Should I keep doing this? Is it sensible? And the conclusion that I always come to is go for it. Just go for it. Because what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you started at 0, you go back to 0, and then you go back up again. You've learned a lot of things along the way. We'll all bounce. Anybody with an entrepreneurial spirit, even if they fail, will be back. You're better off just getting out of the way. So my method in the bear market was not to slow down, it was to speed up. Instead, we hired more people and we just kept on growing and expanding because I wanted the product to be perfect. And it is not perfect, but it's good. It's like free education. Like one of the things that I believe that the cryptocurrency industry needs to go back into a bull market is better education and better everything.
I agree. Yeah.
Like make the barrier to entry of it 0. Not many people can afford to go and make something and make it free. And most things that are free you would describe as scammy and shilly. So what I wanted to invent was a platform that isn't scammy, isn't shilly, doesn't shill anything, just gives you real, genuine courses and information that will track your learning. And it's all completely free. At the same time, it does news, it does prices, and we're adding an exchange to it at some point at the start of this year. We're just currently developing the exchange aspect of it. It's like an exchange aggregator. So we'll be able to kind of police people's trades. We're licensed and regulated. That's the other thing people don't realize about when you set up your own company. It's all things that I've learned as well. You have to get licenses from governments and stuff like that. And being just a guy that dropped out of school aged 16 to go and get a job and then gamble with crypto on the internet, these things are all very new to me, but it's helping in my, I think the question of something was, what's your development look like? Well, my development is actually learning how to become a proper entrepreneur. I've made money, but I was not necessarily professional. Now the job is to turn that money into professional money and create a genuine business that then you can make $1 billion off. That's ultimately the end goal. By 30, become a billionaire. I don't know how possible that is, but if you don't try, you never know. So that's the goal.
Wow. Yes, just go for it. Thank you. Like we need more people like you. More people that just have the audacity to just go out and do things. And it's inspiring. Just if you fail, then what's the point? Just get back up and go and keep going.
Exactly. Well, how many times did you feel like quitting? Because I have a lot of respect for people like that. How many times have you felt like quitting YouTube or Twitter? I bet you felt a fair few times like, this just isn't worth it anymore. Like, there's got to be a point where you thought that.
I mean, there was never once where I felt it wasn't worth it because I absolutely love what I do. And it's just hard sometimes, you know? Sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like I'm not where I want to be. But then I also remember like I've come so far and, you know, in only 3 years, like I've been here 3 years, even though it's a long time in crypto, it's 3 years. So it's just like, sometimes I get frustrated, but at the same time, I just love this so much. Like I never want to let it go. Like I would never say I want to quit. Like never, ever.
Well, you have obviously got a lot more tenacity than a lot of people that I know, because I've explained to a lot of people to do the exact same thing as what I did. Just go out, make a YouTube channel, put yourself out there. And they'll go, how do I get rich? How do I do this? How do I do that? I'm like, how do you expect to meet people if nobody knows who you are? One of the best ways to network is putting your face out there. It's got to get, and so many people just don't want to do that. And so that's the nature of the game. Whereas you're putting yourself out there, you're meeting people, and I would be willing to place a bet that you'll probably be worth in excess of $50 million by the time that you're 26. I would say if you keep going on the path that you're on, I would expect that. That would be my genuine expectation, because we've got, think about that. So you're 20 years old now.
Almost a month and 3 days.
Right. So it's basically 26 years. I think 6 years is 2 more bull markets. 2 more bull markets. If you play that correct, that's $50 million, even starting with 10K, because you'll attract a lot more attention as it keeps growing, as it keeps expanding. And as long as you keep doing the right things, getting good content out there, it'll keep growing. And people don't understand the compound growth effect, if that makes sense. If you keep going at something, you build up a reputation. Like imagine when you're 35 years old and you've been doing this for nearly 20 years, but you're 35. And there are just people getting into the industry now. Imagine how much expertise you will have compared to these people. You will be miles ahead of them, meaning your time is worth more money. Everything like that is worth more money because you're a much more valuable person because of your experience. Being around in the industry, you've been around, 3 years? That means you've already probably got 3 years more experience than most people are getting in now. So there is so many different businesses that you can build off the side of these things, like consulting businesses. You can consult with cryptocurrency companies. All you need to do is learn the basics of how to consult correctly and that kind of thing. And then from there, you can expand the consulting company. It depends on, I guess, how entrepreneurially minded you are. But I suspect you're quite entrepreneurially minded, considering you've not given up yet. And so therefore, you've probably got quite a few business ideas just whizzing around your head and going, no, I should do some of these. And you should.
Yeah. It's always like, you know, the risk. But that's what holds people back from a lot of things, is they're scared of risk, which I'm very much not. Like, that's why I just put myself out there. I was in high school and I was like, frick this. Like, I'm going to be Miss Teen Crypto and just like start tweeting. And like, you know, just chose to go a different path than most. Like, I'm not in college right now. Wasn't a popular decision, but I did it anyway. You know, because I just love what I do. And I know that, you know, I want to be Miss Teen Crypto and I want to be a part of a revolution and like help people. And I think that's what this can do, but also, you know, have some entrepreneurial effect to it.
Yeah, I mean, you will get there. Somebody's saying in the chat that I need gambling therapy. I'd only need that if I've made a loss, but I've not, so therefore I don't need it. So it's fine.
You had your losses, but you came back from your losses because you kept trying.
Yeah, you give up, it all goes wrong.
Yes.
Ultimately, it comes down to, if you analyze it, so what I do a lot of is self-analysis. So I analyze decisions that I made, why I made those decisions, and how I could potentially make those decisions better if I was to have them make again. And from doing this, you can never actually repeat the same mistake twice, because especially when applying the theory to trading and things like that, you can never repeat the same mistake twice. For example, today, or rather yesterday, I took $40,000 of profits on my trades. And I invested $7,000 into an account last week, turned into 40 grand this week. But I felt quite happy about that. So I was like, sod it. Last time I felt happy, I didn't take profit. And then I felt sad. So this time I'm going to take it, even if it hurts. Because you know how much it hurts to take profits, to get out.
And then it goes up. Yeah.
Yeah. like I mean, he technically did that. Like Bitcoin up to 19,200 or whatever. I think has he come back down now? I feel like it might have done.
I saw it just go right over 19.
Oh, no, it's still up at
Yeah,
19,200.
19.2 right now.
I took profits on my Ethereum trade at 1,424, and my Bitcoin trade at 19,000 or just under 19,000. Was it 18? No, might have been 18,600. I took profits on my Bitcoin trade.
It's not bad.
It's like don't. Oh, it does help that I had a really good month on other things. Otherwise, I probably would have left them open and then ended up getting wrecked in the long term. But you've got to exercise discipline, and that's what I'm doing this next time round. You've got Bitcoin right now is 19,200 a coin. How fast can you make $19,000? Well, you can, if you make a theory and you calculate your theory, even with $10,000, you could probably make $19,000 extra. So you'd have $30,000 in the span of a week with some good theory and some good kind of. It's not the world's most difficult task. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's not. You just need to get it right. And I guess this is where you have people that do gamble and they don't learn from their mistakes and they repeat the same mistake over and over again. I have seen it. I've seen it so many times in crypto. I'm probably guilty of it on occasion. Being like, I'm going in again now and I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it. I guess one of my best ever gambles was actually when I liquidated on a $6 million trade. It was $18 million trade, 3x leverage. I lost $6 million in a trade.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, really dumb decision. I did this on YouTube as well. It was a really, really dumb trade.
Oh my gosh.
This was on Bitcoin from 52,000 or whatever it was down to 43,000. And I'm stood in my bathroom looking at my phone going, oh dear, this is going really wrong. I hope it doesn't keep going. And it kept going, but I took a loss at it was long on Ethereum. It was 18 million long on Ethereum. No, it wasn't. It was 18 million long on Bitcoin, and then the Ethereum position was open as well. At this point in time, I had like 1,000 Ethereum in my Bybit account and 100 Bitcoin. And by the end of the day, I had nearly zero. And then I went this degenerately long position. If you remember at the time, Bitcoin's price, when it hit like on the crash down right at the very bottom, because I was on a live stream at the time, it hit like maybe $28,000. And on the live stream, I went long. And I just kept on pressing that long button, just increasing my leverage like crazy.
Oh,
just going long,
my gosh.
long. And then bam, straight up to 36K, made about $1 million in the span of maybe an hour. And then we were back. Like that's gambling. That's really being dumb, and that's being completely caught up by a massive trade. I was over leveraged and really poor risk management. Would never do that kind of thing again. But you've got to do it to remember not to do it. Otherwise, you'll keep do it big or don't bother doing it.
Yeah, that is bonkers. I know this is a random question, totally off topic. Have you ever gone skydiving?
No, I daren't do that.
You won't do it?
No.
Really? You'll drive a race car at like 100 something miles per hour, but you won't jump out of a plane and like float to the ground?
Yeah, no, that's too scary.
Really? I'm surprised. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, you would think, but again, I like my risk on a chart or on a track. I don't like the idea of being up in the sky and falling. That doesn't sound particularly fun. It's just one of the main reasons for skydiving is it's just a bit unnecessary. Like you're just going to go and jump out of a plane for no reason.
Absolutely. Why not?
No, this sounds like a bad idea because what about the parachute? No, it's not good.
No.
I'd like to have a go one day when I'm a bit older or if I get a terminal illness at base jumping. That sounds like fun. Where you jump, or doing the squirrel suits that people wear, and they put like a squirrel suit on and they jump off like a mountain.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
I'd love to have a go at that, but only if I get diagnosed with a terminal illness. I'm never doing it if I don't get diagnosed with a terminal illness. Just need to make sure that you're going to definitely die before you actually jump off the mountain or whatever it is that you have to jump off.
You're funny, man. This has been honestly a great time. And I want to ask you before we head out, one, where can everyone find you? And two, what is a message you would like to share with the audience? It could be about getting liquidated, being a total degen in the markets. It could be about squirrel suit flying, whatever you want. What's something you would like to share with the family here?
Okay, so what I would say is we are quite clearly, from my perspective, near the bottom of a bear market. Even if we're not at the bottom, it doesn't matter because when Bitcoin's 100K, doesn't matter whether you bought at 10, 15 or 20. It's 100K. You're rich anyway. It doesn't matter. So, and it will get to 100K. Like, it's going there. It's just got lost in it on the way. And just took the wrong now it's down some back alley on some weird dirty dark street, and it's just trying to find its way out. And, it's getting there.
Yes.
And I think that with the market looking like it might be on the turn, even if it's not on the turn, I would say still buy some Bitcoin and just keep buying Bitcoin, keep buying Ethereum, buy your majors, and then don't learn to trade. I would say that. Don't necessarily learn to trade. That's the worst thing that you can do when you're first starting out. Understand the industry, understand the way that the industry works, understand the way that companies do business with each other. Like, that's a really important thing, because when you understand that actually if two companies are doing business together, then this actually causes a lot of dumping on the market, then you can predict that, and you can focus kind of on these kind of things so you can find these unique trading opportunities. So don't necessarily learn to trade straight away. Trading is something you should do in time. It shouldn't be really the first thing that you go to, because again, you'll lose money when you start trading. I know that you will. It's inevitable. We all did. I think for like all of us, even for me, you might make a little bit at first, like I did on plus 500, and then you rack up a massive debt. Makes $2,000, $3,000, whatever it was, down to minus $5,000. And because those platforms allow me to rack up a debt, I had a debt with them. I never paid it, by the way. I don't know what happened with that. I just never logged back in.
Oh.
And the debt went away. They never asked for it. Yeah, it just is what it is. Never.
Jordan's going to get a knock on his door after this.
Yeah. It is what it is. I had a few friends that did the exact same thing, because plus 500 used to give you $50 for free that you could trade with basically crazy leverage that you could apply, and then no KYC when you were signing up. All you needed to do is just like put in a name and address, but you just put a fake name, fake address, and then
wow,
that was all you needed, the free $50. It was a crazy time back then. This was before like AML and KYC and people caring about these things on the internet. The internet's changed a lot. Like, it's become so much more legit.
Yeah.
You said that also we're ending the episode, so I need to stop talking. What was the other bit? Where do I live? I live on the YouTube. Just type in That Martini Guy in Google. Stuff will come up. Also, the main thing that I'd like you to go and check out is my business, which is cryptosavingexpert.com. Yes. Don't bother coming to me. I don't matter that much. Go to cryptosavingexpert.com. That matters to me, and honestly, it'll help you out so significantly in the long term, because it's a really good platform, and it launches very soon. Like in January, it launches. So exciting stuff. And also, we're going to do a massive giveaway with I don't know how much money. I want to do like a $10,000 giveaway, or give away like a camera or a Rolex or something like that when we launch the website, just to make a bit of a kind of boost to the website, I guess. But we'll see. I don't know quite what I'm going to do yet. It depends on, I guess, how we come to look at the end of next week, because very soon after the end of next week, we launch.
Wow, congratulations on that. Let me throw the link in the chat one more time, cryptosavingexpert.com. Make sure you guys to go check it out. Follow Jordan. If you don't already, then you're crazy, because he's been around for so long that, like, how don't you? But everything in this live chat that I'm throwing in there right now, his YouTube channel, cryptosavingexpert.com, and his Twitter. It's all in the description of the video as well. So make sure you follow him. Enjoy his content, look at his car content, see him be a troll and develop into the professional YouTuber and trader that he is now, and coming out with something that's going to help people. And I'm very excited. I'm happy you're pushing stuff with education, because that does mean a lot to me. And, obviously we have a huge educational gap that we do have to fill in the industry. And there's so many things coming our way that we have to make sure we know the fundamentals of the space before the pumpamentals of the space. So thank you again, Jordan, for joining me. Thank you everyone in the chat for being here. I really do appreciate you all. If you guys enjoyed the show, spread some love for the Friday vibes. Make sure you smash the likes, subscribe, share the stream out with friends. I will be back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Daily Zest, 12 p.m. Eastern on this channel. I got you daily with the news. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thank you again. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay zesty. Peace.